towels, and this is why. Set it on the towel, suddenly I can whisk all day, it's not going to go very far. Or we can put it inside of a small pot, and it will hold itself in place. Okay? That's really good, especially if you're super tall. I'm not super tall, but if I was, I'd have like a tall pot put in there, go to town. Okay? Now in here, I already have the vinegar. Okay? And we have to stream the oil in slowly. Okay? If I just pour it in there and try to emulsify, I could, but it will take a very, very long time. Alright? Now I'm whisking to incorporate a little bit of air, but I'm really not trying to like whisk it to a froth. Okay? I'm not going crazy over here. Right? So, we whisk. Now, I always tell students, because they always whisk and they get exhausted real fast, because they're trying too hard and they've never held a whisk before, or they do it like really uncomfortably, they whisk like this and get it everywhere. Okay? I always recommend hold it like you hold a pencil, because you've been doing that your whole life. Those muscles are already developed. Okay, so use that same grip. This is how I hold a pencil, this is how I hold a whisk. Okay? So, whisking, we gently stream in our oil, nice and slow. Okay, we got to give it a second to really incorporate. Okay, now the standard ratio, right now we're working 3 to 1, oil to vinegar. But it can go as high as we need, right? 3 to 1 is a good starting point. So when you have balsamic vinaigrette, 1 part balsamic, 3 parts oil. Okay, today I'm using white balsamic and regular oil so that we see what looks predominantly clear, when done properly, should become white. Okay, it should change color because we've emulsified it. We've changed it at a chemical level. Now, chances are it will break after a certain period of time, but hopefully we can limit that. Okay, you see how relaxed I am? Okay, students get really tense when they start whisking and it's exhausting. Okay, relax. Relax, let it happen. Okay, if you whisk towards yourself, that's fine too. But you see how it's getting cloudy? We're starting to emulsify the product, right? It's not 2 clear items anymore. Okay, we're starting to really bring them together. Now, you're not going to be able to do this for minutes and minutes and minutes. I already know. Okay, if you got to take a break, you got to take a break. But just get used to it. And pastry, guess what? We whisk a lot of stuff. So we'll start building up those muscles. Okay? Now I can start adding a little bit of seasoning now. But of course I can't go crazy because I haven't tasted it. I have no idea where I'm starting from, so I don't really know where I'm going. In keeping with the white theme, we're using white pepper and salt. Okay? White pepper is just older black pepper. Okay? It's where they let it grow, the teleshary pod. They let it grow longer and then they remove the skin. That's white pepper. Okay? Right, now back in the old days, the way it was done is we'd have like a giant squeeze bottle, big, full of oil, and we would like tuck it under our arm, hold the bowl, and we would just kind of whisk like this. That way it was a really, really slow, steady stream. And you would just walk around like this until it was done. Okay, now obviously today that's not really the best way, but it can be done. Right, but look, see how it's getting even thicker still? We're really starting to pull all that stuff together. Okay? Has to be a nice slow stream, otherwise it'll break. You can break a sauce very easily, and you're going to break lots of them in F2. Okay? To fix them, depends on the sauce. So something like this, usually a drop of water will pull it right together. Okay? Because what's happening is the oil is not pulling itself in, so a drop of water makes it kind of seize across the board, and then it will just realign itself. Or more oil, right? So it comes with a lot of experience and practice knowing what goes with. But you see, I'm not whisking this for air. I'm just keeping it moving, right? A whisk is a great tool because it kind of cuts them into each other, right? Now, what else would cut these two together? Could I do this with a knife? A mixer would? Like a blender? Yeah, a blender would definitely do this, okay? However, a lot of times we don't have a blender. Plus, a blender does it so fast and incorporates so much air that a lot of times that's when it breaks later. Okay, by doing this, it's slower, more even. They would get more secure emulsification. Alright? Right now it's actually starting to become almost like a dressing. It's starting to get really nice and thick now. See how it's like really starting to hold itself together? Okay, so far we have white balsamic, regular salad oil, salt, white pepper. And I've been waiting for like 10 straight minutes, right? So just know, you gotta get used to it. Okay, always stop periodically, because what I've got here, check it out. In the middle, it's emulsifying. On the outside, it's breaking. You see how it's starting to kind of sizzle, kind of weird?
Yes.
That's because it's trying to break. Okay, so I have to bring all that out back in, and I have to really start re-emulsifying it, usually at a higher speed. So you see how it's starting to get that really thick buoyancy now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a little bit more oil and we should be just about there. So vinaigrette is supposed to be thicker than vinegar and oil, but it's not supposed to be thick. Okay, this is supposed to just barely dress the leaves or whatever you're going to put it on. Okay, so thick. It's not as thick as it could be. Go just a little bit more. All right, but you see how it suddenly just calmed right down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that I've added all that oil, it's emulsified. Okay, you see how it's not boiling or anything, right? It just holds itself right together.
Smooth.
Totally smooth, absolutely. Now chances are good this will break because it is bubbling just a little bit, right? It's not technically boiling, but it has that effect, right? So we saw though, just with a little bit of work, and it looked really, really terrible, and then suddenly, totally smooth. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of things in food that are that way. Now, seasoning. Are you having some forks? The only way to know, like multiple forks, yeah. Thank you. You can just set a whole handful right here. We gotta taste. All right, we're gonna get in there and taste. Right now, everybody go ahead, taste. Okay, we're gonna talk a little bit about seasoning. Right now, there's almost nothing in there. You saw how little salt and pepper I put in there. When you taste it, does it taste like anything? I mean, you've got a little bit of vinegar. It's not really astringent, so we know that there's oil to balance it, but otherwise it's like, there's nothing there. Like, there's no life, there's no joy. Okay, is everybody tasting? Yeah, I don't want to see any double dipping.
Yeah, needs color.
Well, color usually comes from what it's dressing.
No, I mean,
Oh, right. It needs some light, for sure.
yes.
Right? Okay. So we add a little more salt. Okay. A little bit more pepper. Just gotta get that in there. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, it needs acid. Oh, it needs acid. It's half vinegar. Vinegar is acid.
Yes, it
okay,
is.
acid should be a last resort because there's tons of it in here.
You can
Now,
taste it.
if you get too much oil, yes, you will need acid, but at this point, clearly it's a lot of acid. Okay, so I get in here and I taste. Okay, it's starting to, but we still don't have anything. Go ahead, taste. Start trying to see how much seasoning I'm putting in this, because so far we're almost a whole teaspoon and a half of salt, which is a lot for how small that is. Well, in the beginning, eventually you'll know, like, this needs a lot, put a lot in, right? That's where we'll get to. But you see, it's starting to come alive just a little bit. It's starting to become a little more balanced, but it's still not there. Okay, so once everybody tastes this, I'm going to take it as far as I think it needs to go, and you might be surprised how much salt it takes. Okay? Everything needs more salt than you think. Okay, but there will be tons of things you give me, and I'll say it's too salty. And you'll be like, but chef, that doesn't make any sense. You just said it. Just calm down. Trust my palate, because I've heard it. Alright, everybody taste? Pretty good? Alright, so it always takes more seasoning than you think. And if we season periodically, like at the end it's harder to season. Right? Because now I'm trying to season a whole thing. In the beginning, if I'm blending and blending and blending, it breaks down and incorporates, I need less salt overall. Okay, the biggest culprit is soup. If you just cook soup and then try to season it at the end, you will need so much seasoning, it's not even funny. But if you season a little bit as you go, you don't need very much at all, because it all kind of stews together. Okay, so now we've got our salt in there, all right? Really starting to bring it together. So not enough seasoning is totally useless, right? People are like, well, it's better to under-season. No, it's not. There's nothing there, right? We're basically just putting something in our mouth, just put it in our mouth. Okay, I want you to taste that. And tell me if it's starting to taste like the salad dressing you'd eat somewhere. And you saw how much salt went in there, right? It looked like a lot.
Sorry. I do. Yeah, big difference, way big.
We basically, kosher salt is the standard. Kosher salt is the standard. Right? And I put like a huge handful of salt. It's almost perfectly balanced. It's actually still not there. It's close. Right? So we put what I consider to be, you can go ahead and take me a second. Start mixing it. Okay? So, this should balance this particular vinaigrette. Just a normal white, bland, boring vinaigrette. Okay? After that, we can start changing it. Now, obviously, if I use a different oil, if I use a different vinegar, I have a completely different profile, right? That's why it's important to understand taste more than measurements. Because if this were a red balsamic, I would need way less salt. If I were using olive oil, I would need more salt because it's more fatty, right? Salad oil is pretty bland in general. That's why we have it. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, I'm going to say that's a perfectly seasoned white vinaigrette. Okay, so please taste. Start to understand. If I'm telling you it's perfectly seasoned, it's not up for debate. That is me telling you from the industry, that is how white vinaigrette should taste. Alright? 4 very simple ingredients. A little bit of technique, and obviously seasoning. Big, big improvement from what we had 3 minutes ago, right?
Way big.
Okay? So, let's take it one step further. This is Dijon mayonnaise. Okay? Now, Dijon mayonnaise, and basically all mayonnaise we use, is kind of cheating. This is an emulsion, because at its base, this is mayonnaise. This is flavored mayonnaise. Okay? True mustard is like that. It's just a sauce. It's just mustard seed, ground, cooked in water. It's basically a sauce. When we thicken it like this, we basically use mayonnaise as a base for it. Okay? So this is an emulsion. So if I add an emulsion to an emulsion, it should strengthen the emulsion. Okay? This is eggs, which has a lecithin protein, which brings it together better. So when I add this, my sauce, my vinaigrette here, should just lock right up, like no problem. Okay? And then, because I want to, we're going to take some of these shallots here for a little bit of flavor. Then we'll grab some chervil. Chervil's really, really nice, really, really light. Okay, we could cut this, but I like to just tear it. Okay? Sometimes a little hand torn in a vinaigrette looks kind of nice. Cutting it is obviously faster, but this also releases the oils in kind of a gentler way.
What is that
Called chervil.
called?
Yep, just another one of these herbs that you'll see throughout your career. And then I'm going to switch over to black pepper, maybe. Will you look behind you and see if there's black pepper, please? It's probably already ground.
Yes.
Unless we have the gigantic thing.
I see it. It's right here.
You can just twist it, just like a door? The other way? Okay, were you grabbing the one that's already ground? Okay, put your hand straight back. Turn to the left. Left, 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 right down. No, left. My left. Down, right there.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
You want me to put that one back?
Okay, so, just a little bit. looks like a lot for what we're doing, right? Like actually, we've got about a quarter of the total weight in new ingredients. It's always going to seem like more than you think, especially pastry, especially with sorbet. I've eaten a lot of really bland sorbet, and I walk in and I grab a whole handful of salt and throw it in there, and people are like, what? And I'm like, taste it. And they're like, so much better. It always takes more than you think for sorbet. Okay? So we whisk this back in, and you'll see it will break initially, and then it'll just come right together into a nice creamy vinaigrette.
Mm.
Now what's happening is, obviously the mustard is breaking down, it's starting to incorporate. Okay, the chervil is releasing its juices, so we're getting a lot more water. And then the acid from the shallots coming out. So if anything, we might need to judge this with like a drop of water. Okay, so will you grab a drop of water? Okay, like literally, drops of water. Okay, because how it works, it's almost like a crystalline structure. When one sets, they all set off of it. Okay, so it's kind of like a chain reaction. So just a little bit of water, and it'll start bringing itself right back together. You see how it instantly thickened? Right, I can whisk all the way around, and it'll hold most of its shape. Okay, so maybe just another drop of water. And yes, there are better ways to do this, right? But this is relatively standard when your hands are washed. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so we're whisking and whisking and whisking. Now notice I haven't gotten anybody dirty, right?
Yeah.
You guys are going to be whisking like maniacs. You're going to be like, ah, flinging it everywhere. Okay, so be careful. All right, so we're whisking, whisking, whisking. Let me get in here and you see how it's like holding itself? You can tell when it's broken when everything sinks. Okay, it's never going to firm up like an actual dressing or like the mustard itself, or it shouldn't anyway. But when all the chervil is still suspended, you know that you're emulsified. When it all falls to the bottom or floats to the top, you know that nothing's holding it in place. Okay, so we'll get in here and I taste. Okay, so taste, taste, taste. It's going to be a little more aggressive because of all that sulfur, sorry about that, and all the chervil, but you'll see that's still balanced, right? You should be able to have multiple sensations going on. You guys saw Ratatouille, correct?
Yes.
Where they had the little fireworks scene? That is what it should be like. They did a really good job when they depicted flavor that way. When you taste it, you should be like, there's some acid, now here's some salt, now there's some chervil. Like it should all come together right at the end. That is technically now a mustard vinaigrette. Okay? But it took no time at all, right?
Right.
No time at all. Just simple ingredients. Technique. Technique is the thing. That's what I always want students to know is technique. What's up? Not so good? Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay? It's all about technique, guys. Like you saw, have I worked hard?
No.
No. Do I need a lot of ingredients?
No.
Not at all. I just need time and technique. Okay, practice and practice. Now, let's talk about too much seasoning. Okay? Too much seasoning, especially without checking it, it's going to be a big problem. Okay? Not only is it bad for this, it's bad for everything, and then it actually changes your mouth. It changes the way your mouth will react. You guys have eaten something really, really sour before, right? And you can feel particular parts of your tongue getting like tense or like tender. Okay? What happens when you eat something after that? Or what happens when you brush your teeth when you drink like orange juice? Every time you're like, oh, I know better, and I still do it, right? Every time you're like, ugh. 2 minutes later, you're like, I love orange juice. Okay? It changes the way your mouth reacts. Okay? So over seasoning is a huge problem, and a lot of times we can't fix it. So, get in here. Okay? This isn't like drastically over seasoned, but taste it, and you'll see it's off balance. It's not gonna like blow your mind, it's not gonna ruin your palate, but it's clearly not balanced anymore.
Oh my.
This is like something you would eat at your standard restaurant, where you're like, it's good, but it's not like as good as it could be.
That's not old season.
And this isn't like you put it in your mouth and you're like, ah, red alert. But it is unbalanced. Big difference though, right?
You must have scraped in there.
Okay, so how do we fix it? It depends. Too much salt, a lot of times a little bit of sugar will take it right out. Hold on, quickly. No, I'm not guaranteeing this will fix it, but you'll see that it will start to change it. Taste it again. You saw I only added sugar.
Yeah, you good at getting up in there.
Right, we're almost back to where it was. Now it's still not as good as it was, but it's certainly not as aggressive. Right, that sugar does take the edge right off. Okay, so we see seasoning, pretty important, right?
Very.
Now imagine, just a second ago when we had that one that was too salty. Again, it wasn't like too salty, but it was too salty, definitely. It wasn't in your face like, like you can't feel the water sucking out of your pores, so salty. But it's too salty. You wouldn't want to eat that. Okay, one bite, imagine a whole plate of it. Ugh. Everything needs to be perfectly seasoned. Okay, I used to say all the time as a younger cook, hey, you want that seasoned aggressively? Hey, you want that seasoned aggressively? Because I thought it sounded cool or whatever. I don't know. Now I don't know why I used to say that. And my older, superior chefs would be like this. No, I just want it seasoned perfectly. I just want it seasoned perfectly. That's all I want. Okay, and I was like, yeah, we need to hit them in the face with our flavors and like really blow their minds. And they were like, no, I just want it seasoned perfectly. That's all I want. Okay? And now I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Now all I want is food that's seasoned perfectly. I don't want my sauce going on. Because guess what? Usually it's not a good thing. Right? Usually it's not. Now, what happens when my students want to get creative? Hey chef, you know, I like spicy food. I think you're going to love this. Right? Because does that look like a lot? Be honest. No. It doesn't look like a lot. Especially to a student. Especially to a student, this doesn't look like a lot.
Yeah.
I whisk it around in there. Oh, look at that. Look at that color. Oh, yeah. It's got that beautiful orange gloss. That looks good. Chef, I can smell it. Oh, Chef, you're going to love this. Chef, you are going to love this sauce. Oh, no. Get out of there. Taste it. It's not going to hurt anybody. It's not that spicy. But you'll see how quickly I unbalance the entire thing.
I'm very.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Again, it's not going to hurt you, but it's obviously off balance again.
Yeah, that's really good.
Is that your recipe?
What?
I gotta get rid of this.
No, that's what I said in the book.
Oh, okay.
Besides, vinaigrette is always just a ratio. It's better to understand a ratio for vinaigrette. If we start at 1 to 3 and increase is needed, 1 part vinegar to 3 parts oil, then we're okay. It's all about the technique, right? Yeah, if I dumped a whole bunch of oil in there, I could emulsify it. It would take a long time, but I could through good technique, right? Now, let us see, excuse me. Paprika. Okay? You have to be very careful with this. Paprika is not as bad. If I had put cayenne in there, we'd all be in trouble. That little bit of cayenne is very strong. Okay, we gotta watch out. Now, if I were to use a tool to help me, it will obviously make it creamier and better, right? But, does anybody see this? Does this look safe? Okay, you have to practice extreme safety, because I could literally just shove my hand down in there if I wanted to. There's nothing to stop me. Not a single thing. Okay? The reason it does that is that I can add stuff to it while it's blending, so I can emulsify. Right? But practice tons of safety with this kind of stuff, students. Okay, this is where that rubber spatula you have comes in place, because that's profits. That's costs, it's food costs. Okay, you want to keep that. I'm going to see if the lid's in here, that way you aren't recording me doing it wrong. But perhaps not. So, when you lose the lid, you still need to cover it. Okay? Turn on. And it's adjustable. Now watch. You see how right now it's still liquid? Right? You can still see tons of different stuff. See it thickening? Okay, so all of that, and now look, I have a much different vinaigrette than I started with, because the machine does it for me. Right? Now I know you're like, well then why don't we always just use the machine? This is going to break much faster than the one I did slowly. Because they shoved it in really fast, so it's going to leave really fast, okay? Now if we had something like an egg yolk, it would bind it like crazy. It would turn it basically into a mousse. Because the egg yolk will just be like, it'll solidify it. Now let's taste this. Now that everything's been blended to the exact same size, it's going to taste completely different. Okay, it's going to taste completely different. Even with that paprika, now that it's all blended perfectly, it's almost balanced.
Oh, my bad. Here, I got these. I'll just add these to the pile. No, that was my fault. Like, completely.
Yeah, if you students don't have a bleach pen, you should just go ahead and carry one at all times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the bleach.
Yep. Okay, so it's still unbalanced, but by blending it, it's not as bad, right? Because it's all the same size, it's almost back in balance. So do we see seasoning, the effect of seasoning? Okay, we understand, right? Now, you will have a written exam over the tastes. So, how about this? What I want to happen, we need to clean this room. Okay, we got to get the tables clean, put back where they were, get all this clean, put back where it was, dishes, floors, trash.